Today, Polygon's Matic token rises as the network prepares to migrate to a new token. TD Cowen says Vice President Kamala Harris could be softer on crypto compared to President Biden, just as Democrats descend on Chicago for the DNC. And Bitstamp USA CEO Bobby Zagotta weighs in on how the upcoming presidential election could impact crypto prices. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Talia Kaplan. Digital currencies are on the decline as we kick off the week. By noon Eastern, Bitcoin slid more than 2% to $58,557, and Ether dropped 3.25% to $2,585. Meanwhile, Polygon's Matic token is on the rise this morning, climbing nearly 1.5%. Now, that gain comes after Polygon reminded people in an X post on Friday that the platform is migrating to Pol on September 4th. In the initial phase, Pol will replace Matic as the network's native gas and staking token, and later will serve as a, quote, crucial role in the ag layer. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. As Democrats converge in Chicago to cement Vice President Kamala Harris's presidential nomination, a new report from TD Cowen says she could take a lighter stance on crypto. Analyst Jarrett Seiberg said, quote, "We view Kamala Harris as more open to crypto and digital assets than Joe Biden, though we do not view this as a priority and believe the industry could continue to face hostile regulators." Seiberg said the comparison to Trump could be a little less clear, though, writing, quote, "Trump in recent months has reinvented himself as a crypto advocate, but that, quote, history tells us this does not guarantee that Trump regulators in the second term will be more accommodating to crypto than during his first term." The crypto industry has been urging Vice President Harris to take a friendlier approach to digital assets since she replaced President Biden at the top of the ticket. Of course, if you want more coverage of the Democratic National Convention, you can check out the latest updates throughout the week at CNBC.com. Next, JP Morgan says the market cap for stablecoins is growing, but the share of stablecoins that make up total crypto market cap remains unchanged. An analyst for the bank wrote that, quote, "While the stablecoin universe has been expanding in dollar terms approaching its previous 2022 peak, its expansion has been largely a reflection of the increase in crypto market cap, with little change in the stablecoin market share as a percentage of total crypto market cap." Stablecoin activity is getting a boost thanks to the 2024 rally and adoption of things like Bitcoin ETFs. In the report, JP Morgan says the large price appreciation of Bitcoin and Ether this year and the resulting expansion of crypto market cap has naturally led to an expansion of the stablecoin universe. Last, the Australian Securities and Investments Commission is cracking down on investment scams, including those tied to cryptocurrencies. The regulator said this morning that it has coordinated the removal of over 5,500 fake investment platform scams, more than 1,000 phishing scam hyperlinks, and 615 cryptocurrency investment scams since last July. Now, the statement mentions that Australians lost $1.3 billion in investment scams in 2023, making it the leading type of scam impacting Australians. Here in the U.S., investment scams also account for the most losses by scam type. That's according to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaints Center, which reported losses of more than $4.5 billion to investment fraud in 2023. Losses tied to crypto-related investment scams accounted for the vast majority of the stolen funds at nearly $4 billion. For more on crypto scams, check out our comprehensive report, which dropped yesterday on YouTube. You can head to youtube.com/CNBC to watch the video. All right, back to markets for our main story. I spoke with Bobby Zagotta, the CEO of Bitstamp USA and the crypto exchange's global chief commercial officer, about what's driving crypto prices right now and whether the upcoming presidential election plays a role. Major cryptocurrencies in the red this morning, with Bitcoin trading at the $58,000 level as of around noon. Now, the cryptocurrency has been trading around $60,000 the past week or so, even after key inflation reports out last week. That includes the CPI inflation report, which revealed that the annual inflation rate slowed to 2.9% in July. That's the lowest level since 2021. Inflation rose as expected in July, which is likely to keep a rate cut on the table next month. The crypto prices we're seeing now come after that big sell-off earlier this month. So how do you think macro factors are currently impacting prices, if at all? And what do you think will happen if we get a rate cut in September?
Yeah, I believe the macro factors are the primary drivers of the price volatility or lack thereof at this moment. And I think that's an indicator of the maturity of this marketplace as it continues to grow. So specifically, while there has been this inflation report, which is helpful, there still hasn't been any material reduction in the uncertainty around what the Fed might do, the uncertainty around the election that's coming up, the uncertainty around whether or not Congress might act. These things are unchanged. So I'm not expecting, or I shouldn't expect, any major changes in volatility at this moment.
And we'll talk more about the election's impact in just a bit. But how do you think crypto prices will change if we do, in fact, see a rate cut in September?
Just like any other major asset class, we'll see some increased pricing, right? Or sort of increases in pricing. So volatility associated with that. In other words, that rate cut would translate into higher confidence in the marketplace on the part of institutions and retail. And that would play out in the price and therefore the volumes running through the marketplace. At Bitstamp, we're seeing continued and steady adoption by institutions, which I believe are not as event-driven or price-driven in terms of their participation in the market, which is a great indicator once we do get a little bit better clarity.
So what's your outlook for crypto prices for the rest of the year? Do you think Bitcoin could surpass that all-time high above $73,000 reached back in March?
Well, having been in the industry for 6 years now, I've learned never to make a price prediction for Bitcoin or any of the crypto assets. But I would say that I'm quite optimistic. It seems to be a convergence of a lot of macro factors, to your point, that in second half and particularly in fourth quarter and first quarter 2025 may conspire to create a lot of momentum for Bitcoin price and other crypto prices. Obviously, in 2024, the first half of the year for Bitstamp, was up 60+% in terms of volume and participation across institutions and retail. And I think that momentum will carry.
And it certainly will be very interesting to see if that happens. So the Democratic National Convention kicks off today, and it's all about the upcoming presidential election in the months leading up to it. Now, a new report from TD Cowen says Kamala Harris could have a more open approach to digital assets compared to Joe Biden. We recently learned that Harris's team is reaching out to crypto experts to learn more about the industry. And speaking with us at Bitcoin Nashville last month, Congressman Ro Khanna said he advised her team about digital assets. Now, of course, in recent months, Donald Trump has come out as pro-digital assets with his campaign accepting crypto donations. The Republican presidential nominee even spoke to crypto enthusiasts at Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville last month. We also learned last week that Trump owns more than $1 million in crypto. How much influence do you think crypto can have on the upcoming presidential election? And how do you think the outcome of the election could impact crypto prices?
Yes, well, first, and as I say to many of my colleagues, let's just acknowledge and enjoy for a moment that crypto has become a mainstream election year issue in the United States. In the last election cycle, that was a far off dream, but it's really happening. And I had the opportunity to be in Nashville at that conference, and the political energy in the room was quite amazing. So I think the possibilities are great. The Biden administration also, began to make more positive movement in the crypto-related kind of issue world preceding the change in candidacy. And the Kamala Harris campaign has, to your point, indicated a lot of openness, which is encouraging. On the Republican side, former President Trump has been quite vocal, and he certainly hit a lot of high notes with the crowd in Nashville. So across all of these possibilities, it's net positive, I believe, for the crypto space, and really an indicator of mainstream acceptance of this asset and the importance of it in the world.
Switching gears, big news for Bitstamp back in June. That's when we learned that Robinhood entered into an agreement to acquire the global crypto exchange. Robinhood says the move will significantly accelerate its crypto business expansion worldwide as Bitstamp holds more than 50 active licenses and registrations around the world. What do you think about this acquisition? What does it mean for Bitstamp? And what will change for Bitstamp US once the deal closes, which is expected to happen in the first half of next year, according to Robinhood?
Well, as you may expect, I can't comment on an active and ongoing transaction, other than to say, we're very, very excited about the possibilities and what it could mean for the industry. This pretty historic combination.
Now, turning to spot crypto ETFs. Last month, spot Ether ETF started trading here in the US. What do you think about that development? And how do you think it's going so far? Do you think those products will prove to be as popular as spot Bitcoin ETFs, which started trading here in the US back in January?
Yes, I think it'll be proportional, but the ETF approvals and the adoption, the inflows that are coming through both Bitcoin and ETH ETFs, it can't be underestimated. It's a tremendous level of credibility and acceptance for cryptocurrencies in the US and therefore the world. The ETH side of the equation will develop. I think it will develop kind of proportionally to how that asset behaves in the current spot markets today. But what it does do is it does open up new avenues for participation by subsets, particularly people who have really invested heavily in the ETH ecosystem, and users, both retail and institutions that are building on that ecosystem. So very, very exciting, and I expect that trend will continue.
Now you'll be able to check out more of Zagotta's interview over at cnbc.com/crypto world. Okay, that's all for today, but we'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll see you then.